African Americans should be aware of diabetes, in particular because of the risk of diabetes and the complications that are much greater for African Americans.
You do need to know about diabetes, even if you don't have it now. It affects more than 1 in 8 African Americans, and the next generation could be at even greater risk. That's why it's so important to take charge of your health.
Deep breath.
To prevent and manage this disease. You're about to find out how, with the help of some famous singers, patients and their doctors, and an NBA star.
Knowledge is the key with anything, and if you understand what you're dealing with, it's a lot, it's a lot easier to deal with.
You can live a full life with diabetes. Take it from the Blind Boys of Alabama. These legendary Grammy Award winners are in the Gospel Music Hall of Fame. They tour the world and bring cheering crowds to their feet. The 3 founders have spent a lifetime overcoming challenges.
Well, we got started in the Talladega Institute for the Negro Deaf and Blind in Talladega, Alabama.
George Scott, Clarence Fountain, and Jimmy Carter went on to sing together for 60 years. George Scott was recording and performing up until his death at the age of 75. Shortly before his passing, he and Jimmy Carter talked about their life of success and praise and coping with diabetes.
Now, diabetes is a dangerous disease, and so if we can do anything to protect anybody from it, we're going to try to do that.
Take it from performers who were still winning Grammys 6 decades into their careers. Diabetes can be managed if you take charge of your health. It starts with learning what it's all about. Diabetes is a disease affecting your body's ability to turn sugar or glucose into energy. This process requires a hormone called insulin.
What happens in diabetes is that there is either not enough insulin being made by the body, and that's called type 1 diabetes, or type 2 diabetes, where you can make insulin in the early stages, but that insulin just doesn't bind normally to the cells, and the cells don't respond to it well at all.
When your cells don't respond to insulin, that's called insulin resistance. Whether you have no insulin or insulin resistance, sugar builds up in the bloodstream. That can damage all the blood vessels of the body, what doctors call the vascular system.
It includes small vessels affecting the eyes, leading to blindness, and the small vessels of the kidneys, leading to kidney failure. Also, people who have diabetes who are not treated have greater risk of developing problems with heart disease, heart failure, heart attacks, strokes, and vascular disease of the extremities, leading to amputations.
It's a very serious disease if it is untreated, and that's why early detection and vigorous treatment are absolutely essential.
Jerry Stackhouse knows too well that diabetes cannot be ignored. Both of his parents live with it. 2 of his sisters have died from the complications, including the big sister who helped raise him.
I wanted to make sure that other people don't have to go through the tragedy that I felt, because my sister was almost like a second mother to me. So I think that's why my passion is diabetes, and that's why I put a lot of effort and a lot of time into it.
His fans know that Jerry Stackhouse plays all out. He brings the same intensity to his work for diabetes awareness, from testifying before Congress to running his Triple Threat Foundation.
At work, at home, in the community. That's the three things that, we're basing the triple threat off of it, and that's one of my favorite moves in basketball, the way I'm in the triple threat position. So we just kind of played off the words a little bit.
The son of a preacher, his mother, Jerry takes being a role model seriously. He does a lot of work in the community, encouraging kids to be active and make healthy choices.
Personally, I hope that my story, the effects that diabetes has on my family, and the fact that I'm stressing the awareness to go get checked out and to take notice, that's hopefully somebody listens and go get checked out and find out that, all right, I did have this disease, but I can control it. I can do things to keep me healthy and not have any fatal tragedy like I had in my family.
Jerry Stackhouse is aware that he's at risk for diabetes too. To protect your health and the health of your family, it's important to know your risk factors. If you have a family history of diabetes, that's something to share with your doctor when you get a checkup. Another risk factor is being overweight. If you're over age 45, you're more at risk. But one reason diabetes is a public health issue now is that younger people are at risk too.
Because of the greater problem of obesity and overweight conditions in the general populations, type 2 diabetes is occurring at much younger ages, to include as young as in mid-teens, in the teens, 20s, and 30s.
Not getting enough exercise also raises your risk. So does high blood pressure and giving birth to a baby who weighs more than 9 pounds. These are all things you should mention at a checkup, no matter what age you are or how healthy you feel, because a lot of people with diabetes don't know they have it. The Blind Boys founders all discovered they had diabetes fairly late in life. Jimmy Carter was in the hospital for eye surgery when he found out.
Well, after they did the blood work on me, they came to me and said, "Do you know you have diabetes?" I said, "No, I don't. I don't have diabetes." So, "Yes, you do." So I argued. I said, "No, I can't be."
Denial is an understandable response, especially when you have not noticed any symptoms or don't want to.
A lot of people are walking around with diabetes who have no idea, no clue.
Undiagnosed diabetes is a very common situation. In fact, in some populations, by that, high-risk populations, African Americans, Latinos, 1/3, up to 40% of people with diabetes don't know they have it.
By the time Chris found out he had diabetes, his condition was so severe he had to be hospitalized right before his wedding. Chris is fortunate. He got treatment before the diabetes started taking a toll on his overall health.
Very often there are no symptoms. And in fact, by the time